Softball fans nationwide will have their eyes on Norman as a top 5 Bedlam series starts tonight as a young OSU team faces off against a familiar foe in the OU circle. This past Thursday, the 10th annual Cowboys Stampede hosted by the OSU Rodeo team and the Ferguson College of Agriculture kicked off the festivities for America's greatest homecoming. Coming into the game here in Stillwater, the Cowboys had one message given to them. If you win, you're in and get a chance to play for a Big 12 championship in Arlington next week. However, the visiting BYU Cougars had one win away from bowl eligibility, and they were going to fight until the end. Finally, the NFL world was shocked Sunday when Detroit Lions superstar Aiden Hutchinson went down with a gruesome leg injury against the Dallas Cowboys. Anticipation was in the air after the Cowboys solidified their spot as the number 2 team in the Big 12 championship game, and it showed tonight as students lined up on the outside of Boone Pickens Stadium in Gallagher-Iba Arena to get their tickets for the student section at this year's Big 12 championship game. Shortly after the Cowboys' 40-34 win over BYU this past Saturday, students with all sports passes were told student tickets for the Big 12 championship game would be available at Gallagher-Iba Arena on Monday morning. However, students did not hesitate getting there on Sunday night to secure their spot for the championship game.
7:30. Yeah.
Students were surprised to see Cowboys such as Ollie Gordon come out and acknowledge their support for this championship run.
Man, you know, it means a lot just to see everybody out here in this weather. It's like 20-some degrees out here, and it's really bad. But, you know, it's fun seeing everybody out here trying to get a ticket so they can come to Texas next week or this weekend.
Ollie Gordon is really awesome.
With score predictions,
99-0. Hey, 24-21.
31-28 Cowboys.
38-34.
31-28.
TVs, tents, and laptops ready to go, fans were fully prepared to endure the cold temperatures for a ticket to the championship game.
I'm not really a cold weather fan. It's a little chilly out here, but anything to go to this game on Saturday.
With growing concerns over the below-freezing temperatures ranging in the lower 20s, students were given raffle tickets and instructed to go home, get warm, and return back in the morning to Boone Pickens Stadium in order to gather their official ticket for the big game. After a season filled with ups and downs for Oklahoma State, fans are excited to watch the Cowboys play at AT&T Stadium for a Big 12 championship game against a top 10 ranked Texas team this Saturday. Reporting from Boone Pickens Stadium, Garrett Dudden, Ocali TV. Most everyone has a hobby that they have been doing for all their life. But unlike most people, Oklahoma State senior Luke Moore can say that his hobby has led him to win a national championship.
I started out as a hunter and just shooting guns as a kid, and then in FFA I became on the shooting team, and then that growth changed into now the collegiate program.
Luke joined the OSU Shotgun Sports Club back in 2019 in hopes to continue his journey as a competitive clay target shooter. However, the club would have restrictions placed on them during the COVID-19 pandemic, with membership going from more than 60 members to 15 over the year. But that didn't stop Luke from staying with the program.
I love the sport. I love to see the change in it. I was involved in my FFA program for 5 years, and so I was going to be involved in this for as long as I was here, and so I kind of felt that I needed to stick it out because there were brighter days ahead.
And brighter days were in store for Luke as he would compete at the ACUI National Championship in 2023 and ultimately bring home gold for the Class A doubles trap competition after winning a shoot-off.
It was our first event of the day, or of the week actually, and we never practiced that event. And my whole goal was to go down there and put up a score, and I said, no matter how you shoot, that's how you did. You don't ever practice it, and it ended up being a very competitive score, and got myself into a shoot-off, and the rest is history.
And as the saying goes, history would repeat itself, as Luke would find himself in a shoot-off for a chance at back-to-back national championships. But Luke would fall short this year and gain second place this year in Class B.
For most people, it takes a lot of practice to get good at this. But for Luke, it comes second nature.
And while national championships look lavish, the impact that Luke has had on the club is greater than the titles that he has won. For club president Riley Crow, Luke has been someone to learn from over his time in the club.
Luke's one of my major role models when it comes to shooting. I've learned a lot from Luke, but I try to go out and compete with him all the time, try to beat him. Doesn't happen very often. Sometimes it does, but try my best.
Luke's time in the club is coming to a close, but after shooting for so long, has he thought about what life will be like after school?
Nope. Nope, I'll just travel to competitions when I have free time and shoot and hopefully compete the best I can.
Whenever that final round for Luke is shot, he will forever be known as a national champion. But more importantly, a mentor. Reporting from Stillwater Rifle and Gun Club,
Did you get that?
Garrett Dudden, Ocali TV. Welcome back to the Daily O and welcome into the Sports Corner. I'm Garrett Dudden. Let's talk some sports, Stillwater. Cowgirl softball is back in Stillwater and ready for a 3-game homestand against Iowa State. Now, after a tough Bedlam Run Rule loss on Wednesday, the Pokes return to Stillwater in hopes to bounce back in Big 12 play. However, the Cyclones would push the 17th-ranked Pokes to extra innings and hold off the Cowgirls 5-4. Now, the Cowgirls had some success in the circle despite the loss, with Ruby Malin going all the way through extra innings, throwing 147 pitches and recording 14 strikeouts on the day. However, the Pokes struggled to get runs into home today as they would go 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position and leave 7 on base. The Cowgirls will look to bounce back tomorrow as Game 2 of their homestand starts at noon in Cowgirls Stadium. Coming off of one of the worst seasons in the Mike Gundy era, it's time for some new players to step up for Cowboy football. Specifically, in the receiver room, it's no different. Now for Io Shadamide King, after backing up all year, it's about stepping up to the new challenge.
It's been different because, I'm quiet, kind of like to say myself. And Coach H has kind of challenged me to not be vocal, but, step into that leader position, kind of rally the guys and all that. So, and he always preaches to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So I guess, he's been pushing me, be uncomfortable, or being comfortable being uncomfortable. Each practice, I kind of get more comfortable in this field and kind of see I'm bigger than everybody else. So I can kind of, have my way a little more.
Moving things over to the mats, Cowboy Wrestling continues to add pieces for next year, and this time it's to the coaching staff. Lee Roper joins Oklahoma State as Cowboy RTC Executive Director and Senior Level RTC Coach. Now, Roper was an assistant coach at Northern Iowa for the last 8 seasons, but Cowboy head coach David Taylor has stated that improving the RTC was one of his main goals after he arrived in Stillwater, and this is another big step in that direction. Roper was a 4-year starter at Appalachian State University, and he later co-founded the Compound Wrestling Club in Georgia in 2008 and coached youth and high school athletes until 2015. And while we all know the concert is the biggest part of the weekend, if you're still looking to get your sports fix, there's a lot going on for teams repping the orange and black. Now, we had mentioned softball, but their Diamond Sport counterpart in Cowboy baseball is out in the desert against Arizona. Pokes are 500 on the season and have a tough task at hand as the Wildcats are currently ranked 20th in the nation. Moving things over to Cowgirl tennis, they play their final 2 matches of the regular season this weekend. They're currently underway against Kansas and will then face Iowa State in Ames. And the Cowgirls have currently won 9 matches in a row. And lastly, women's soccer with hopes of revenge as they take on the team that ended their season last year in the NCAA tournament against Arkansas as they continue their spring exhibition season. That match kicks off at noon on Saturday at Neil Patterson Stadium. Well, that's all we have today from the Sports Corner. A historic weekend for Stillwater and Oklahoma State is upon us. But stick with us because coming up, one group of women is reaching new heights next week. Rayma and Emmy have it right after this.